Well, what's going on, everybody? A rare afternoon live stream way out east on Long Island at the ocean on a very windy day. My God, it's a blowing. You can see that American flag out there, and the wind is doing its job. That's for sure. My God, America! Oh yeah! Like the American flag. Absolutely. Hope everyone is having a fine day. Doing this because, I got a special guest. I got to check in with my old friend, Pat Duffy. He can only do the live stream in the afternoon. So I'm like, you know what, Pat? I could do a live stream in the afternoon so we could talk and catch up a little bit. So we're going to do that in just a few minutes. I just want to say hi to Jason on the Facebook with the sup. We got another sup coming in from RJ Hinners. We got Scott Arsenal. You're first on the YouTube checking in. We got the Instagram. We got the Twitter. We got the Facebook. We got the can you hear that? We got the ice cream truck in the distance. It's a very different vibe later in the afternoon here at the ocean. My God, it's ice cream time. 4:53. Yeah, they're right on schedule. That's good. What's up, Ernest? How are you? Bob, good afternoon to you. And without further ado, Mr. Pat Duffy. What's up, Pat?
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm currently nursing a violent hangover. So,
You're nursing a violent hangover? Your volume is a little low, sir. Could you turn it up a little bit?
I'll try my best. I'll speak a little closer. I don't have my AirPods in. I tore my house apart looking for my AirPods, so I'm doing this analog.
All right. Why the hangover? What was the celebration? Was it just a Tuesday, or did you have something going on?
No, I went to see Limp Biscuit at the PNC Bank Arts Center last night.
Oh, damn!
Yeah.
That is awesome. Fred Durst looks like he's 100 years old now. My God.
Well, I mean, they all do, and so do me and all my friends, so it all makes sense.
Right. How was it?
It was awesome. I tell you, been looking forward to this show since I got tickets like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And 13-year-old me was extremely excited to see Limp Bizkit.
Very nice.
It was awesome. And Corey Feldman opened for him.
For real?
Yeah. So it was an interesting night altogether. But we tailgated for like 2 hours beforehand, and I got entirely too drunk, and we had a great time.
Wait, I got so many questions. First of all, Corey Feldman, can he pull it off as an opener for Limp Bizkit?
No, and I think that's the point. Like, for all the videos I saw from this whole tour was like he was yelling at his bandmates, and he was like screwing up guitar solos, and it was exactly what you would expect. Like he was just screaming and yelling, but it was funny to see the kid from Stand By Me be like try to be a rock star.
Yeah.
So, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, he's been trying to be a rock star for a very, very long time, and he's not going to give up anytime soon. In his head, he is Robert Plant. He is Led Zeppelin.
And you could really tell that too, because like as an opener, and you're playing at like 7:00 in the afternoon, and people are just coming in, and it was like after every song, he thought we were all standing up clapping for him, and like meanwhile, I'm like, I say to my wife, I'm like, you got to go to the bathroom. Let's go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
But I'll tell you this though, if he believes it, then I'm happy for him.
Hey, good for him. What was the highlight? What did he do? Like a cover or something that was cool that got people interested, or was it just nonsense?
It was nonsense. But the best part about it was like he kept trying to do this guitar solo.
Yeah,
I don't think he could make the guitar do the noises that he wanted, so he was like mouthing it.
Oh my God!
And he was like like it was really funny.
Was he wearing his Michael Jackson attire?
He had a full-on sequined suit.
Yeah, that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
When he used to hang out with Michael. Yeah, God knows what happened between those two back in the day.
Well, whatever happened between them back in the day has resulted him directly in opening for Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, and did Limp Bizkit do Nookie?
Yes, they did. And I'll tell you what, what's cool is I actually wanted to bring this up talking about Limp Bizkit, is that like these bands from that era are doing this like nostalgia thing where they'll book these tours and they only play the old songs.
Right.
And it's like, it's the hits. And they played like they probably played for like an hour and a half, and it was like 2 songs that were kind of newer.
Right.
But everything else was just stuff from like when I was in 7th grade.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was fantastic. Like it
Did the
was
two
really, really
songs
good.
did the 2 songs get a smattering of applause, or were people into it?
Some people were into it. Like one of the new songs they did like was actually like pretty good. They did the
Yeah.
song called Dad Vibes a couple years ago, which is a good song. So
Okay.
that people got into that. But then then there was another song I was like, I don't even know what this is. I
Yeah.
never heard it, So it was pretty good though. But I'll tell you, dude, they put on a really good show.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Nothing worse when you go see your favorite band. You're spending so much fucking money for parking and beers and tickets, and you got to get a couple shirts. And then they, about, I don't know, 3/4 in, they go, here's one from our new record. You're like,
Yeah.
God, no.
No, I didn't. I'm glad that didn't happen. So it was fantastic though. Like, and they sound good, and as dumb as of a band as Limp Bizkit is, they just hold a special place to me because I was 13,
Right.
and they were cursing, and he was wearing a backwards hat, so I was like, this is the coolest guy on earth, and so they did a really, really good job. It was awesome. But point is that I preemptively took today off because I knew I was going to be again violently hungover, and it rang true.
So now I feel like an idiot because me and Pat were just texting back and forth. We were supposed to do this at 3:00. I texted Pat around 2:30, and I told him, dude, I just woke up from a fucking nap.
Yeah. You called it an old man nap, and immediately in my mind, I just had the image of you in an easy chair, and you're like,
yeah,
what's going on?
Oh no, it was one of those naps where I woke up and went. I really thought it was tomorrow. I really, you know, when you have one of those where it's such a deep nap.
Yep.
And because I was shooting 3-pointers with my son in the morning, like I got up real early. I was live streaming, and then we went to the basketball courts and we're shooting. And my God, I guess it tired me out. But I'm glad we're doing this. The Fred Durst, by the way, you do know that back in the day, me and Anthony had one of the first interviews with Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit.
I did not know that.
They used to play the rock shows at WAF, the only station that really rocks up there in Boston.
Right.
And when they first hit, there were literally 2 radio stations playing their music. I think one was out of Portland, Oregon, and the other was WAF. So we hung out with Fred Durst before anyone gave a shit about this guy.
Oh, that's awesome. So the first time I ever heard about Limp Bizkit was they played the K-Rock Dysfunctional Family Picnic. That was probably like 1997.
Yeah.
And like nobody cared, and I had to go, and I tell my kids all the time how hard it was to like access music you like back when I was a kid, because then I had to like go get my mom to bring me a ride to the mall and go to the CD store, and hopefully it was going to be good, and I would spend $13 on a CD, and if only one song was good, you were screwed.
Of course.
But I remember I was a huge fan of them back in the day. Before I was too young to go to any concerts. The only reason I never saw them.
Right.
Now I'm an adult with big boy money.
Yeah.
I was able to go see Limp Bizkit.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You know that Fred Durst was part of one of I would call it one of the infamous Opie and Anthony bits up there in Boston. I would love to talk to him all these years later, because when he was coming on our show here and there and playing shows, and like I said, no one really cared, but the tidal wave was beginning, and you could tell this band was going to be massively huge, of course. But and then life gets in the way, and a bunch of decades go by. I would love to sit with him and go, "Yo, Fred, do you remember the time that we were in the rock bus interviewing you, and we were getting pelted by rocks and beer cans and anything, sticks, anything our fan base could find?" It was a time we told our audience that they could catch their own turkey for Thanksgiving, and people took it literally and were very, very excited, and they showed up in this giant field with all sorts of stuff to catch wild turkey, including weapons that had to be confiscated, and nets and hockey sticks and clubs and all sorts of shit. And then me and Anthony, of course, we announced that what you're going to do is run out in the field, and you're going to find paper turkeys, and then you could take those paper turkeys and you could get a real turkey for that. You could turn it in.
Oh
And
man.
in the middle of this, we were talking to Fred Durst. And when the turn came, when they realized it wasn't live turkeys, it was going to be paper turkeys, they lost their minds. And they broke the windows of the rock bus. They were throwing everything they could find. There was all sorts of dents. And I swear to you, me, Anthony, and Fred Durst were on the ground inside the rock bus, still trying to do a radio show. I would love
I
to.
guarantee he remembers that. I'd
He
like.
has to,
How do you
right?
forget that? How do
He
you
has
forget that?
to.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because then, fast forward, he might have done another, I don't know, a couple appearances at AF, and then, he was an MTV boy after that, man.
Well,
We couldn't touch him after that.
you know what's funny about remembering stuff? So the show was at PNC Bank Arts Center, and if you remember back in the day, we did the Traveling Virus tour there.
Of course.
So like I remember going to that show and like we were in the height of that whole thing and like everybody knew who I was and I was like signing autographs and taking pictures and that you guys played the Baby Bird video on the screen like
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there last night trying to tell my wife about that. Now she never met me, like I met her way after that and I'm with my friends and they're like, "Yeah, it was great." And she's like, "Whatever. I go get me a drink."
Yeah.
She's like, "That's cool story." I'm like, "You don't get it. I was a celebrity for a minute." You
Dude,
don't get it.
it's the same in my house. It really
Oh yeah.
is. I've been out of the limelight for real, like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years now. My kids are they're only 14 and almost 12. So at the end of my run, they were just little kids. They didn't know.
Right.
And so they don't care. In the end, they don't care at all. They're like, "Good for you, Dad."
Yeah. No, I've gotten frustrated with my kids before, and I'm like, "You don't understand. I used to be somebody."
Right.
I'm like, "There are people out there that have my autograph. You don't
Right.
understand."
Right.
So take out the goddamn garbage.
Every once in a while they'll be with me when I get recognized, and they're like, why is that guy freaking out? That's weird. They have no concept. They understand that, I had a big show at one time, but in the end, like you have learned to, you're just their stupid dad that takes naps in the middle of the day.
I should have taken one today, but that's beside the point. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, it's just like, even it doesn't matter what you do in your life. Like before you have kids, you're like the most rock star version of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you have kids, and it doesn't matter anymore. They don't care.
No, they don't care.
No, it's not. It's so funny.
I know, exactly. So what else is going on? Did you end up having that talk with your conspiracy theorist friend?
So yeah, all right. So to catch everybody up, I work with a guy who actually now with my promotion, he works for me. So but
wait, I gotta stop. Mike Bergen Jr., one of mine from the private Facebook group. Mike. Now Pat repairs potholes on the Garden State Parkway. LOL. No, his job is way more than that.
First of all, I don't work for the Parkway. I'm not going to tell you where I work, but I work for a similar organization. But I'm now the boss.
Yeah.
So I graduated from repairing potholes. So now I tell people to repair potholes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that guy's trying to like insult me or not, because I really love my job and I wouldn't trade it really for anything else. So that's fine. If that's what he wants to think, that's fine. That's totally fine with me.
I think he's trying to he's just trying to have a little fun at your expense.
But I'll clarify that I love my job and I have a great life, so we can, whatever, we can move on.
And you got a huge promotion recently, so life is good for the Duffy. Go ahead, continue with what you were saying. I'm sorry.
So, no, it's all right. So to back everybody up, I work with a dude who is a flat earther and is a super conspiracy theorist. Like, it doesn't, like, the sky could be blue one day and he's like, that's not real blue. Like, he's like that into it,
Yeah.
And he's also very deeply religious, and he's been trying to convert me to Christianity for a long time, and I'm like, I don't subscribe, I'm good, I wish you nothing but the best.
Right.
But he talks to me about it all the time, and as soon as that opening ceremonies for the Olympics happened, which again I didn't watch. I didn't watch just because I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
And I saw clips of it. I saw Gojira play, which was fantastic. But I saw the Last Supper stuff, and I saw all that, and I immediately was like, I have to talk to Joe.
Yes.
I have to talk to him.
Talk to Joe.
Yeah. So like literally the next day he came in the office, and I was sitting there, and he's like, so catch the Olympics? And I was like, no, but I watched enough so we could talk about it. And he had he had stuff pulled up on his phone, videos like showing all the demonic imagery. He was talking about how it's all brainwashing and all. It was really good back and forth. Him and I have gotten into screaming matches over the
Wow.
past 10 years, but like friendly ones. Like we're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
debating, you know.
yeah.
But he was getting so fired up about it, how they'll push their ideas on kids, but they make fun of religion and it's unacceptable and all this stuff. And I was like, and I said to him, I go, well, I don't know, you might have turned me on it. I think if the centerpiece of the Last Supper is going to be a big guy covered in blue paint, then
Yeah.
maybe you want to count me in. And he goes, that's not how we want to get you. We want to get you for real.
I don't even know if it was the Last Supper. They're trying to say it's some kind of Greek mythology thing that it wasn't even the Last Supper.
Yeah, they're saying it's a take on the Feast of Dionysus, which was like
Yes.
a Greek god.
Yes.
And because I had to do my research so I can come back to Joe and tell him what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
But the two are very similar, so it's very easy to see what he thought they were trying to go for. I think they were trying to go for the Dionysus thing, but not a lot of people know about that, so they
Right.
automatically assume it with the Last Supper. And there's transgender people in it, whatever, and there's that guy's nutsack was hanging out.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. Because I said to Joe, I go, listen, for me, I don't even subscribe, and that was even a little much for me.
The
Like
nutsack?
I wasn't even that into it. Like it was a little much.
When stuff like that happens, I just laugh. I'm like, his nutsack was on primetime TV. Like,
I know.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's what we're doing now. And
but I think the problem they did was that people aren't cultured in art to that extent where they would understand that it wasn't the Last Supper and it was this Greek thing, this Greek celebration, and that's the problem right there. Right. Lost in translation. Mike Bergen Jr. LOL. I'm only kidding. Mike is actually a really good guy. So I don't.
Yeah, he's a good one. I just get defensive. You know how the internet is. You can't tell context or tone.
No, of course not. Of course not. But you're not watching the Olympics, and yeah, I just find it exhausting to fight with these people, whether it's about politics, religion.
So I watched 10 minutes of the Olympics today because, like I said, I've been nursing a hangover all day. My wife and kids were not home, so it was like me time, and I looked up Olympic coverage and I watched about 10 minutes of street skateboarding.
Oh, nice.
And I literally made it like 10 minutes and I was like, I'm gonna see what's on Netflix. Like, I'm just not into it.
I don't
like
know.
The Winter Olympics.
Well, everyone says they like the Winter Olympics over the Summer Olympics, and I do believe it's because you can actually die doing your sports in the Winter Olympics. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I agree.
The difference.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then it's wild because there's stuff that you didn't even know was an Olympic sport. Like Peacock has all the categories.
Yeah,
I didn't know that breakdancing was an Olympic sport.
What?
Yeah, exactly. It's breakdancing is an Olympic sport. Like
I think the dumbest one is the ribbon.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's all the gals that weren't good enough to make the gymnastics team, so they now do sort of gymnastic stuff with a ribbon.
Right, exactly.
And they throw it in the air, and it's like I guess her throw in the air was better than the Romanian gal. Yeah. I don't know.
But what's funny is on the other end of the spectrum, even though you can't die during it, the Winter Olympic sports are a lot more interesting. Like I'll watch the shit out of curling.
Yeah, a curling rules.
What I mean? Like I'll watch curling for 12 hours. I don't care. But I won't watch the ribbon twirling or the breakdancing. It's not the same. It's not as fun.
But what happens to these sports? Like we all get into curling during the Winter Olympics, and then the Olympics are over, and there's nowhere for us new fans to go. We have to wait 4 years to get into it again.
We become the world's biggest curling fans ever for 1 week, and then it's over. But
it's over.
Yeah, but that's like any time an American team does well in anything. Do you remember a couple years ago? I think it might have been the World Cup or something, but it was like the American soccer team was doing really good.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, everybody gave a shit about soccer.
Yeah.
And then the moment that it was gone, it was like I never even liked soccer. I was just it was pretty cool.
Of course not.
Of
course not.
But I tell you what, the best over the top patriotic chant ever was they were chanting "It's called soccer."
Yeah.
And instead of football, and I can't help but feel proud of my country when we do stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, we're America. Us Americans, we're obviously very, very pompous.
Oh yeah.
Like for us to steal the word football from them, and our sport has nothing to do with the foot. The
No, none at
kicking is
all.
the least the least important thing in the NFL for the most part,
I
and
know it.
especially as the years go on, it's less and less important.
Right. No, but it's what we do though.
I
We
know,
just
but we're like, fuck you, it's football. And they're like, but
exactly.
you throw the ball. What do you mean? You
I
don't do
know.
anything with your feet.
No, but I love it, and I don't even like football, but I'll get behind it because of that alone.
Oh yeah, no, I have no
Yeah.
problem with it. I'm proud of the chant too, if you want to know the truth.
Oh, it's the best.
But I find
It's
it
the best.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's the best.
Hilarious. Yeah. What do you think of the Green Day controversy?
You know, it's funny. You told me, you gave me an idea what we wanted to talk, like, come up with some stuff to talk about. So I was like, I haven't done radio prep in a long time. So I was looking at the top news stories,
Yeah.
and I actually saw that. And I saw that he pulled out a mask or something with Trump's head, I guess is what he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And to me, I hear the word Green Day, and they're like punk rock band Green Day.
Right.
Green Day hasn't been a punk rock band in 25 years.
I don't know if they ever were a punk rock band, to be honest with you. Maybe when they first started out, but they got mainstream success on a level that has nothing to do with punk rock.
Right. And it's I never liked Green Day. I like their first album. It's okay, but I never wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to listen to Dookie.
Right.
You
Right.
know, like, so it's just one of those things that guy, he does. And then that guy made a whole album based solely around not liking George Bush.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But that takes balls if you think about it.
Yeah, my kid has joined us.
Hi, how are you?
Say hi. Can you go in the other room for me, please? Please? All right, I love you too. Can you please go? Please? I told you I'm on a work call. I told her I was making a work call.
Oh, really? And now they're like, wait, you're just talking to your friend, Daddy.
I know. Can you go watch? Now I'm stuck. She's got my arm. Okay. Okay, she just grabbed the scissors and goes, I'm putting these back. Go ahead.
Yeah. Have a run with scissors. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. But
They're
anyway,
running,
so
I don't know of one person, by the way, that had an issue or an accident because they were running with scissors.
no, it probably happened one time, like in the 20s, and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But to go back to Green Day,
Yeah.
Green Day to me does everything they can to stay relevant, and like, of course he's going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not shocking when you're like a pop punk like institution, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and it's but the thing about it, I read the opposite end of the spectrum is that it's kind of like I think you wrote it, how it's actually anti-establishment to like Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you wrote that on Twitter today. That's where I'm forming my opinion based on what you said.
Well, I don't even know if that's true. I'm thinking maybe the band thinks that Trump is actually anti-establishment.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, you can't be surprised by anything Green Day does. Another band that we had a good relationship with back in the day, by the way, they used to come in and they were cool as all hell. But I don't understand why people get so butthurt in America by all this stuff.
People look for stuff to be offended by. They don't. People are so easily offended by everything, especially post-pandemic, where people sat in their house for 3 months or whatever they did, and then they only did like the only information they took in were what they chose to.
Yeah.
So anything outside of it, they get offended by.
Right.
It's selective outrage. It's so like nothing that Green Day could do other than like show up at my house and like knock over my potted plants would offend me. You know what I mean? Like, all right, that's Green Day. That's what they're gonna do. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't care at all. Like,
well, but we got a whole bunch of people that do care, and now they want their careers to go bye because of that.
No, okay. Good luck. Like, good luck. Who cares?
I don't have time for this nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to make a little bit of a living. I'm trying to like raise my kids right. I'm trying to pay my bills down a bit. I don't have time to fight over Green Day holding up a mask of Trump.
I know. Who cares? Eminem just made it a whole new album based around the concept of getting himself canceled.
Right.
And if that didn't work for him, then it's not going to work for Green Day.
Right.
Like, just go shut up and sing American Idiot. Like, go on Good Morning America. How punk rock is Good Morning America? You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Well,
the mainstream media is very, very lazy because they just label them a punk rock band. It's
But I also saw in the article it was like 52-year-old punk rocker. I'm like, there are no 52-year-old punk
no,
rockers. Like, no, like that guy. There's no way. He's got stock in Hot Topic. Like, he's not a punk rocker at 52.
I
Enough.
don't think you can be a punk rocker after the age of like, God, I think even 30's pushing it.
I was gonna say 30.
Yeah,
Like,
but
once
that's
you're
even
past
pushing
30.
it.
Well, like I went to that show last night with Limp Biscuit, and I saw like 40-year-old guys in like spiked jackets.
Right,
You know what I mean? I was like, dude, like enough.
right.
Like, aren't you a grown up at this point? Like, but I mean, I get like, I always said that there's people that like people at concerts. They're like concert people. They're like they go into a closet until the next show because they like dress all up and they look like maniacs. And I can't see them like going to Walmart looking like that.
No.
But it's like at some point you gotta hang it up.
Yeah.
You gotta stop waxing your hair into spikes. It's enough already.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm still holding on. I'm holding. I'm
I'm
holding
all
on.
about
Just
self-expression. Trust me, I'm all about self-expression. But it's like like punk rock is for like between the ages of like 13 and 30,
yeah,
pushing it at 30.
yeah,
Because like even if in your late 20s as a punk, all you're doing is buying the underage punks alcohol.
yeah. Of
Like
course.
that's your only relevancy.
I
So
like what Stephen Nass is saying here. I think people struggle with finding their identities, and this is the only way they know how to do it now. I like that.
I agree with that 100% too. Like I agree with that. So especially when again post pandemic when people were like, they're relatively young, they went through the whole lockdown and the pandemic process. They don't know how to naturally come into finding who they are.
Right.
So like I get it. Like I get that, but enough already. Grow up.
Uh, what's your thoughts on Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris.
Ugh.
I think you lean toward the right, obviously, right, Pat?
I do. I mean, well, I do. I do and I don't. I'm a registered independent.
Right.
I took a test a couple years ago. I'd like to retry it because I apparently come like just right of center.
Yeah.
So like because I agree with a lot of stuff on the right. I agree with certain things on the left.
Right.
And so but as far as this upcoming election goes, I am as far right as I possibly can. Like so Trump got shot and I was in on Trump regardless. And then he got shot and I was like that's it. I'm in 100%. Like
Yeah.
there's no way. Like so I actually have a Trump flag in my backyard for the first time. So, and I know people can make fun of me for that, whatever. Like, but I don't care. It feels different this time. Like, I remember 2016 and 2020. It was like almost like it was like a scarlet letter to support Trump. And
Yeah.
now he gets shot, and then he has Hulk Hogan at the RNC. Like, dude, I was watching that, and I was like ready to run through a brick wall. I was like, he's got Hulk Hogan. I'm in,
It was
100% in.
look, the Hulk Hogan was exciting, but going back to your point, that's a guy that's got to mix up his attire. That the attire he was wearing 30 years ago is not working anymore.
It worked for me. I didn't
It
care.
worked
I was in.
when he ripped his shirt off and he was having
Yeah.
a
No, you
tougher
don't.
time ripping it.
No, you don't understand. I was like, I may as well have been doing it with him. Like I was ripping shirts off for left and right, just right as soon as he was doing it, because it worked on me. But then again, I'm a wrestling mark to begin with,
Yeah.
so
I
I was into it.
I also lean right of center. I hate the taxes. I hate the
Yeah.
border shit. I hate the cancel culture crap. All this stuff bothers me a lot.
Right.
But with this political process, it's really interesting. So Trump gets shot, and within days, everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's going to win in a landslide." And then the
Yeah.
Democrats turn around and get rid of the old man. Now
Yeah.
Trump kind of looks like an old man, and now there's momentum with Kamala Harris, and it's going to be
But is there?
really interesting in the next
But
90 days.
well, listen, is there actually momentum, or is that just social media being flooded and telling you that there's momentum?
I think there is legit early momentum because change. People get excited right away, and then we'll see how it settles in.
Right.
Settles down. So I
Right.
think there's definitely momentum as far as between Kamala Harris and Biden. Biden
Oh,
was
yeah.
dead in the water. That campaign was just going absolutely nowhere.
Oh, I know, and it was 100. Like when Trump got shot, and I remember like I was at my buddy's house and we were having a barbecue, and I got out of the pool and I looked at my phone. It had blown up. Text message from a bunch of friends of mine are like they shot Trump, blah blah blah, and I was like, that's it. This sealed the deal. They just gave him the election.
Right.
Like that's it. Yes, at Abby's house. Yes, my kid's talking to me. Sorry.
Main Dingus gave us $1.99 to insult us. If you think Trump actually got shot, you're a fool.
Well, apparently Joe made his way to the chat here. My conspiracy guy at work was all about it. He says false flag, the whole thing. But even if there is an actual false flag here, the momentum changed. They literally got the president to drop out of the race.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever worked. But I don't think it's a false flag. I think it's real.
I think if I was going to be completely fair today in front of my dear friend Pat Duffy, I would say that Trump absolutely got shot. I think it was a nick.
Yeah.
I think he oversold it. I think the bandage was not necessary on the right side of his head for those 3 or 4 days.
They played it up a little bit. They played it up.
Yeah, but I mean, it happened. People. Well, the one person who cares about the shooter, but someone lost their life, and others got shot. It's obvious it actually happened, but I don't think it blew off Trump's ear or even a part of his ear. I think it was pretty much a nick, and he's incredibly lucky that he turned his head when he did.
Oh yeah, like the chances of being able to avoid that, it's got to be 1 in a billion. It's ridiculous. Like,
dude, I watched the Trump rallies. He never turns his head like that.
No.
And he was looking at a graphic. He goes, he told everyone, hey, let's look at this graphic. And that turn just like that pretty much saved his life.
Oh, I know. It's unbelievable. And as soon as that happened, though, I was like, that's it.
Right.
He's in.
What are the odds? What are the odds that he turns his head at that split second like that?
It's divine intervention is what they'll tell you.
Well, I mean, really?
I don't believe it, but I'm just saying.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you give me 2 more minutes with my friend here?
So divine intervention, but the guy that jumped on his family, he loses his life to save his fucking family. What was that? Was that divine intervention too?
Yeah, and how about the week later at the RNC when he's got his firefighter jacket?
Yeah,
and he really paid tribute to him. I mean, again, I was saying before that like in 2016 and 2020, it was the scarlet letter to admit that you like Trump.
Yeah,
and then I liked them both times, and it was a total scarlet letter, like you were looked down upon. But if you admitted that you like Trump, it was like a quiet thing. People would be like, "Who'd you vote for?" You're like, with the guy that won, whatever, and we'll move on. and now it's like that happens.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, no, I'm voting for Trump. I'm into Trump, and everybody's like a lot more louder and prouder about it. And
you're all in.
The right thing. That RNC thing, like his actual speech was really toned down. Like you could really tell that he was like, I almost died. It's like I'm going to calm it down a little bit here. And I thought he did it like the right thing. He had the guy's jacket up. He paid for the funeral. The whole I thought it was a good move.
What I liked about that whole thing is the widow refused to talk to Biden and basically said, my husband would be so mad that I talked. Can you imagine the president of the United States is on the phone under really bad circumstances, obviously. And you're like, yeah, tell him to go screw.
Yeah, tell him I'm busy.
I'm not talking to him.
Yeah, tell him I'm busy. I'll call him back.
I disagree. I disagree, I guess, on Pat's political opinion, but I respect him. All right.
That's fine. We used to be a country where you could get along and have different opinions.
Right.
Like you 100% could have totally different opinions. My dad and my best friend's dad they knew each other for 50 years until he passed away. And one was a lifelong Democrat. My dad's a lifelong Republican. And I remember them sitting there drinking Old Milwaukee in our basement growing up. And my dad would be like, fucking Democrat. What do you know? You know what I mean? But like those guys were best friends for 50 years. They used to be able to disagree.
Well, even in my lifetime, it was like that. It was, in a weird way, it was kind of fun. It's not fun anymore. Now it's just like going for the throat. There's, and you can't even have a beer as you do it anymore.
Right.
Because you want to take the beer and throw it at his head.
Right. No, you just, it's sad. I mean, I don't want to get real here, but it's sad that happened.
I got one weird thing. I know the whole, weird thing is taking off, which I think is kind of an interesting and smart marketing strategy. But with that said, I got to ask you your opinion on this.
Oh, please.
Trump. Yes. Have you ever seen him laugh? Because because they're all making fun of Kamala Harris. Her laugh is over the top, obviously, and a lot of people say she's on pills, she's high, she's this, she's that. She's just happy. I don't know. But then the other side of the coin is Trump. I don't think there's any video of Trump ever laughing.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of any time he's laughing.
And I don't know.
Serious.
In my life, I don't know. I could trust anyone that doesn't laugh.
Yeah, right.
I wonder why that is.
That is weird. Yeah.
And then someone's going to find video and they're going to throw it on my Twitter. Here he's laughing. But if he is, it's very rare. It's a very rare thing.
The only thing I can think of that pops off on the top of my mind is in 2016, there's a clip of him at a campaign and some little kid, he pulls a little kid up on stage and he holds him and he's like, do you want to go back home or do you want to go home with Trump? And the kid's like, Trump. And the whole crowd laughs. Everybody laughs. And he gets this like weird smile on his face.
That was it.
He's like, you know, and he doesn't laugh though. You're right. He probably never laughs.
He smiles. He definitely gets some smiles going.
Yeah.
But I think he's just, I think he doesn't want to give anybody else, that.
Right.
He wants people laughing at him. And look, the guy is entertaining as all hell. He's funny. Some of the shit he comes up with is amazing. I'm not, I can't front about that. Of course it is.
And I think that when you're given the choice between the two options, and I like the idea that Trump is deciding that almost everything is screwed up and he wants to figure out how to fix it. Right. And then the other side just wants like business as usual. They'll tell you everything's going great, and it's like, no, it's not going great. I got to go to 3 different grocery stores to buy groceries.
Right.
So that I don't go broke buying groceries. It's ridiculous. So I'm very fortunate in what I got a work truck now. I haven't had to buy gas in like a year.
Oh my God, what a perk.
Oh, it's an unbelievable perk that I have a truck now that the my work gave me. But like I'll fill my wife's car up and I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like it's unbelievable. So
wait, how I'm a dummy. I only did radio my whole life, so I don't know shit about someone with a real job. How does the work truck work? Do they keep track of your miles, or you could just fill up and do whatever the hell you want with the truck?
There's 3 different GPS monitoring systems on it.
Oh shit!
So I can go to work, I can come back, I can anywhere. The only thing I can use it for is quote unquote official use only.
Okay.
So I can't I can't go to the grocery store. I can't run, a buddy's house with it. But I've had it for a year now, and I actually sold my personal car because I hadn't used it in like 6 months.
Did you figure out how much money you saved on gas not going back and forth to that job?
Oh, probably thousands of dollars. Like I would like to sit down and think about how much I saved, but just a rough guess in a year, probably $5,000.
Yeah, I would say it's at least $100 a week, at least.
Yeah, I'm 30 miles away from work, so 60 miles a day.
That's like a promotion in itself, right there.
Oh yeah, no, it's a big perk. Like we don't get paid a lot, but when you factor all that kind of stuff in,
right?
It works. It's honestly one of my favorite parts about the promotion.
Yeah,
but it's fantastic. So, and we haven't run into any situation where like we just used my wife's car, and I haven't run into any situation where I haven't had a ride.
Right.
So it's all worked out. So.
Stephen Nass, once again, I wish the country could just get along, man. I think during this election, there's a lot of hate between two sides. There's been hate between the two sides for probably since Obama, probably. Before Obama, it was starting to rev up.
Mm-hmm.
But the hate has been just getting worse and worse since Obama. During that campaign, I believe.
I said to my wife the other day, I said, I remember when people hated Bush W.
Right.
And I remember like thinking it was wild how much people didn't like him. And it pales in comparison to how people feel about Trump.
So
it's unbelievable.
So final question, because I know your kid is pulling at your shirt there, Mr. Duffy.
I know these kids, they eat every day. It's unbelievable.
Oh my God. You know what we got to do? I want you to be a regular on my live stream, and because I do it in the morning, it's almost impossible, but I will make the exception just to get you on. I'll do whatever time you need from me, because what I want to do next time, I want to talk about just being dads.
Oh, please. Let's do
nothing else.
No, let's please. I would love to do dad talk. I really would.
Because I think we'll have some really good angles on it. Because like you just remind me of something. Like, wait, you guys want dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah. What do you want for dinner? Buttered noodles. That's all she eats.
Butter noodles. But all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" And I'm like, "Oh God, dinner again? We're already at dinner again."
Yeah, I saw a meme the other day that was like, "Life is nothing more than figuring out what to eat for dinner that night, and then doing it every day until you die." It's absolutely true. But I'm totally down for some dad talk. I would love to do that.
I want to do one where that we won't be able to help ourselves, but at least we'll try. Just like no, we're just gonna focus on the dad thing.
Yeah. No, I'm in 100%.
I'd
love to do that.
I said this on the live stream, I don't know, a day or two ago. So I was making bacon, for everybody. It was Sunday. Right. And, the bacon, it has to be burnt basically. So it's really crispy. So the bacon grease is dancing on the tray. Right. And I pull it out and I just get splattered in my face. Oh, and I'm like, holy crap, how bad was this? So I go to my daughter. I go, can you take a look at my face and see how bad the bacon grease, burns are, right? Dude, she pointed out 12 things wrong with my face that had nothing to do with the bacon grease. I go, all right, enough.
So, quick dad talk story here.
Okay, so, this will be the warm up for next time.
Yeah, so it's always the people that are closest to you that are the meanest to you, Yeah. So I'm late. Me and my wife and my youngest are laying in bed the other night. It's like right, we do the wind down routine, but before she goes to bed, we watch something on TV. Yeah. And so I'm gonna admit this. I farted in the hallway. Okay. Oh as I came back from the bathroom, I let out a little fart. And I go in my room and I lay down with my wife and my kid, and immediately my little one goes, "What stinks in here?" She goes, "What stinks?" And I'm like, "Nothing stinks. What are you talking about?" She goes, "No, Dad, you smell like a fart. Like, what did you do?" And I was like, "Nothing." And my wife goes, "What was Dad out there tooting in the hallway?" Like they're just roasting me. Yeah. And then I'm like, "No, nothing." And then my favorite part about it, and I've said it like 100 times to my wife since, my kid sits up and goes, "Do you have any for?"
Did Pat Duffy get me? I think Pat Duffy got me. I think Pat Duffy got me on the. I hope Pat Duffy got me and that wasn't a technical issue. Oh, bravo, Mr. Duffy. I think he got me. Bravo. Bravo to Mr. Pat Duffy, a good friend of mine. I miss that guy. I miss doing this with him. But I told him, I'm like, look, Pat, if you could just do afternoons or nights, whatever, I'll do an extra live stream just so I can, make you a regular on this damn thing. Yeah, everyone's laughing. I think he got me. Bravo to Pat Duffy. All right, guys, I got to go. I think we're looking at a couch or something. I'll see you tomorrow morning on the next live stream. Thanks for checking out this special live stream so we can get Pat Duffy involved in this whole damn thing. We will talk very, very soon. Bye for now. Bye.